in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about who we are at NewConfig and what made us a profitable organization, a profitable staffing organization. So I started NewConfig in March of 2012, but before that, the reason I started it was I was working as an SAP and Salesforce, with SAP and Salesforce at the time, and I was doing I was working at AmerisourceBergen, which was one of the largest drug distributors in the country. They don't make any drugs, they just distribute it. And they were doing an SAP implementation at the time. And I started NewConfig because I had all these IT recruiters call me, and they would pitch me to switch jobs, pitch me to switch from working at AmerisourceBergen, which is nobody knows this, but they are the largest employer, or like the largest company, I guess, in the Philadelphia area. They make over billions, like 60, 70 billion a year, distributing drugs. Their margins are really small. They probably make, I don't know, 100 million, 200 million. I don't know the numbers. I've been away from them for years, over a decade now. But their margins are small, but they make billions in redistributing drugs. And they were going through an implementation of SAP software. I had SAP experience. I was on their team. And I had all these recruiters call me. And they would pitch me roles. And what I realized is that I could do this a lot better than them. They knew nothing about SAP. All they knew how to do is how to ask questions about your years of experience, salary. They knew nothing technical about IT or SAP or Salesforce that was going to be used at the time. They just knew regular recruiting, which was great to be a recruiter, but I realized that there was a niche in the market for an IT recruiter that actually knew IT. And that was the reason, the impetus, that got me to start NewConfig in March of 2012. And I thought that, hey, I'm going to go into this market and I'm actually going to be a IT recruiter that actually knows IT, unlike these other folks that don't know IT, other recruiters that don't know IT. And I thought I would just kill it in the market. But the problem is I didn't know anything about recruiting. And when I would pitch myself to all these companies about recruiting, they knew that I knew the IT part, but they didn't know that I knew the recruiting part, which I didn't know at the time. And my first year in business in 2012, I flopped. I didn't make any money. But the good thing is I still had my day job. And in 2012, I actually left ABC. I worked for another consulting company, Diagonal. Then I started working at Accenture, which is a huge implementer of software, SAP, Salesforce, PeopleSoft, etc. So my consulting career was growing, and I was bootstrapping NewConfig at the time to get it to grow, because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to help people with recruiting, but I really wasn't good at it at the time. So 2013 comes along, and a company finally gives me a chance, and they said, all right, Dimitri, I'm going to let you recruit for us. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to kill it. And I'm going to help you find the best people. And I was like super excited about it. And I invested at the time, I invested $7,000 into this database, into this DICE database that cost me $6,500 of tax, about 7 G's. But I didn't know how to use it that well. And I didn't have a good way of persuading people to apply. I didn't understand how to find people in the first place. I didn't understand how to persuade them to apply to my client. And number three, the third mistake that I made, besides buying this for a full year because I thought I would kill it, was I didn't really understand how the recruiting market worked. That this company called me, but they called another agency too. And they weren't loyal to me because I had not proven myself. And lo and behold, I didn't staff the role. The other agency staffed the role because we work on contingency. The client only pays the company that actually staffs the role. So here I am in the first year of 2012. I lost. I didn't make any money. In 2013, I lost $7 grand because I invested in this database. I invested in it in February of 2013, but all of 2013, I was still learning how to use databases, how to persuade people to apply, how to find them. It's an art, it's a skill, it's a science too, and I didn't know it that well. So I lost money in 2013 getting people to apply, persuading them. So in 2012, I didn't make money. In 2013, I lost money. In 2014, I finally started making money with recruiting. I started staffing roles. I finally started figuring out how to fill roles, how to use the databases, how to use Dice, how to use Monster, how to use Career Builder, Indeed, LinkedIn. ZipRecruiter was not out at that point. And I started staffing roles. 2014 was a breakout year for NewConfig. From going to negative $7,000 in 2013. In 2014, I was still in a one-man shop. I made, I think, $80,000 in 2014. And what happened is that I started spending most of my time doing recruiting. And I was even doing some of it during my day job at Accenture. And Accenture noticed what was happening, and that my productivity went down. And they let me go in February of 2015. But you know what? That was the best thing that could have happened to me and to NewConfig, because it forced me to focus on NewConfig full time, which is all I did all day, every day. And I mastered my craft, mastered the craft of recruiting, of looking at databases, of persuading people to apply, of talking to clients, of talking to candidates, of figuring out if candidates are lying to you, because there's a lot of that in IT. They take a 3-month class online and they claim 5 years of experience in SAP or Salesforce or Workday, and you have to tell the fakesters from the real people, the charlatans from the real people. And I got good at that. And 2015 was another record year for NewConfig. And in 2016, I hired Jason, who became our director of talent acquisitions and sales. And we started growing. And in 2022, I want to fast forward to where we are right now. We are a team of 11, and we have over 1.5 million in gross revenue and a huge profit margin to boot. So that is what we do here at NewConfig. Talk to you about how I started and how I ended up. And in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about more about how the fundamentals of how I actually took the company, what I actually learned from getting from negative revenue and losing money in 2013 and zero money in 2012 to actually being $1 million company today. So thanks for watching the start of NewConfig, and that's who we are, and stay tuned for the next video.